All right. Hello, cadets. Welcome to another episode of General Howitzer's Big Monster Briefing Room. I'm General Lemuel T. Howitzer, and over to my left, now over to my left is Major Millie Hazzard.
That's right.
Very good. Tonight is an interesting episode. We've been advertising this for over a week now because the Ukraine and everything last week, and Putin. So
what a troublemaker that guy is. I'm not going to even weigh in. I'm not even going to say anything.
If you get me
started, I would never end,
Yeah, I know. Me too. He's a naughty boy. Okay. He's a naughty boy, and he hangs out with other naughty boys. Anyway, tonight's episode is about The Blob, 1958, starring Steve McQueen. We don't usually get big stars in these training films, but there it is. This was before, The Magnificent Seven, which came in 2 years later. 5 years later, The Great Escape. So very, very respected actor. We don't even want to go down the road to Bullet. But let's address the elephant in the room right out of the gate, okay? The theme song to this movie, the title song. Oh, my God, what is this? A mambo, a cha-cha? Beware of the blob, it creeps, it sneaks. What is that?
I think it's very festive. I think it's very sweet. I kind of like it, General.
Well, it certainly makes you remember it because it's just so out of place. I mean, when you see a training film like this, from the 50s especially, you expect a not a see, you can see my notes.
But I think it puts the audience in the right mood to accept the blob, because I don't even know if you know or if our audience knows what blob means. I went into Webster's. I actually opened the dictionary and it said something about viscid, which I don't even know. Do you know, General, what viscid is?
Viscid?
Viscid. It said viscid in Webster's. That's all I'm going to say.
Biscuits.
It said viscid.
What?
No, it didn't say. It was with a V. It's with a V.
You put
with
blobs
a V,
on biscuits?
General. No, it's something about viscid. All I'm saying is that I think that we should write to Merriam-Webster and let them know that they should include this horrible, horrible monster into their thing about blob. I don't know why he wasn't represented.
Okay. So what did the dictionary tell you the definition of a blob was?
It's a small drop of something and then viscid. It's like a dollop. Essentially.
Anything else?
Well, I could let me think hard.
I've got a feeling you're only giving me half the definition here. You called me crazy.
It's a small drop. It's a small drop or a lump of something, General.
Okay, a lump. Okay, that's more like this thing.
Do you know, like a little lump
of something?
Yeah, just like a little lump. It doesn't sound quite as irksome as this thing actually turned out to be. Viscid. Yeah, you got to say it right, General.
I think you need to look up the word viscid. I'm not sure anybody knows what the hell that is either.
Now I'm going to have to go and look up another word. It starts with the V for anyone who wants to look.
And again, as far as the song putting you in the mood for the training film, come on, it puts you in the mood for a cha-cha dance, for a tango. Dun 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 dun. There goes the blob. Dun 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 dun.
You're enjoying this so much, General. And it did occur to me. Another way you can think about it, I said dollop, but you could also think of a glob, with the G. I don't know if you could say the word glob, something that you have on your plate, something that you could eat off. You put a little glob of something on there. I think it's kind of like a cheap knockoff of the blob.
I haven't checked to see if there's any training films about the glob.
Well, you should be checking
maybe there
again
was a cheap
that sounds like a
knockoff
monster.
or something called the glob. I don't know. I haven't found it yet. Compose yourself.
You know what? I gotta tell you a story before we get started here. If I could keep it in.
It might be a while before we actually get started here.
I'm thinking about my aunt Rita. I don't know. Do you have an Aunt Rita, General? Do you have a special Aunt Rita?
No, I can't say that I have.
Okay, well, she was kind of a blob. You know, when I think
about a blob. I used to have a person who used to babysit me when I was a little tyke. Her name was Rita.
Well, that might be like
peeing out behind her trash can, so I got caught. She hit me with a cooking spoon.
Well, did she have a dog?
I believe so.
Well, you know, my Aunt Rita used to like to feed her dog some bologna or bologna. How do you say it? Bologna or bologna? I don't know. It depends where you're raised, I guess. But, you know.
Why do they spell it Bologna?
I don't know why
That's
they
what I
spell
want
it
to
Bologna.
know.
I don't know.
Where'd
But
the G come from?
anyways, my Aunt Rita, she would hold up a piece.
Champagne?
She would hold up
What
a
the
piece
hell?
of bologna. She called it bologna like this. And she would
Yeah.
say to the doggy, "Tell mommy." And then Bowser would howl. And it would sound kind of like "I love you." Like, "I love you. I love you." Then out of nowhere. Yeah, I'm not getting any reaction from you, Gerald.
We're getting a little off target here.
All I want to say is that out of nowhere, this
blobs,
viscid.
Right?
No, we're talking about viscid, which is related to blob, but it said having a sticky or adhesive like quality. You know, I looked that one up now too while we were talking,
okay.
and because everybody wanted to know, nobody knew what viscid
this blob
meant.
is kind of icky and sticky, I guess.
Well, this one is more absorby. You know, I'm a scientist. I can talk about this.
Absorby.
Yes, that's actually
your
the
adjective.
for it's more absorby than sticky. You know, sticky repels and absorbs it. You know, brings it in. The doctor called it a parasite, right? I think it's called a parasite.
That's right. The doctor does call it a parasite.
That's right.
You are absolutely correct.
Well, if anyone has access to the dictionary, they can look up and cross-check all of my references. But that's what we learned. And now I think we should get started because, you know, it's time to see the blob. Let's unveil the blob. Are you ready, General?
Well, we can go through our timeline. Yeah. I mean, we can't show the movie itself. I mean, we'll get thrown off YouTube.
Oh, but they can find
it.
But they can find it.
Sure.
Yeah. We'll tell everybody.
For the record, I want to tell the audience that the version that I watched was the Criterion version, which is supposed to be the best. And
what makes it the
at
best?
3 minutes and 30 seconds, if a meteorite crash lands near you, don't go find it. I'm sorry,
not,
but
General?
Radiation
Why not?
or worse.
Oh,
radiation.
Viscous.
Is that how you say it? I'm not sure. You might find a creature that's going to crawl up your arm and take over your body. So that's a bad idea. Okay. 6 minutes. Anything that looks like a jellyfish should be left alone. Okay.
They're no good. Those jellyfish.
We know this from our parents. Don't touch the jellyfish now.
Don't ever touch that jellyfish.
You get stingy all over, right? Well, this is even worse.
Yeah, this is even worse. If you can imagine, it's worse.
Okay. We're supposed to have pictures here, aren't we?
Yeah, we gotta have the pictures, General. I didn't know if you want me to put the pictures up or not. I was like, just
okay. There's the cha-cha slide. Beware of the blob. It's Steve McQueen, awesome actor. So lucky to have him in this training film. There's the meteorite. If you see a meteorite falling behind a dead tree, don't go looking for it. Bad idea. Yeah, that looks like a jellyfish, doesn't it? I think I saw that guy in an episode of I Love Lucy. Anyway, okay, so they take him to the doctor. Okay, you pick up an old man in the middle of nowhere with an unidentified jelly on his hand, and you put him in the backseat of your car. Wait a minute. He's going to get blob all over the backseat of your car, isn't he? Viscid. 10:30, seek medical attention. That's smart thinking. Seek medical attention. 15 minutes. This is the 15-minute slide. Always respect the law, even if they stop you while you're investigating extraterrestrial activity or racing backwards. Always do that. Respect the law, even if they don't understand you. Okay, now, here the blob is completely taken over the guy's arm. If you were the doctor and you saw this, what the heck would you do? I mean, call in more victims? The doctor knows it's a parasite. It's a dangerous parasite, but he decides to call the nurse in. Hey, good job. More food. Ring the dinner bell, as I always like to say on the show. 21:30. 28-year-old teens tossing a potentially dangerous meteor around. Ooh, hot potato. It might be radiation. I mean, there might be radiation. What the heck are you kids thinking? 22:20. Okay, the minute you saw this cute little dog, I said puppy chow. I'm sorry, but I thought this dog is gonna be blobbed. There's no doubt in my mind. Kate. Kate is there's the blob. It's already absorbed its first victim in the doctor's office there. The doctor says, Kate, stay still. Kate, don't stay still. If you see a blob rolling around on the floor towards you, it wants food. Okay, move. 25:45. Yeah, there she is. Kate, stay still. Throw acid on it. Acid's no good, actually. Didn't work. Bullets. 25:45. He shoots it. Bullets don't work either. Ditto. 27:10. Locked doors. Would it just go under them? And there's the doctor right there in the window. 39:30. Another. What is this? I have a note here for a horror movie cliche. Maybe this was the first though. I'm not sure what that was about. That was in 39:30. You can look it up on the movie, on the training film when you check it. Okay. I usually don't think badly about senior citizens, but how many of you wanted old Mrs. Porter to be a blob victim? There she is. Old Mrs. Porter. How many of you? I hope people are watching the replay on this when it comes around. I can't see anybody's comments, so. Okay, so that was actually before this one. Another horror movie. Oh, there it is. Another horror movie cliche. The guy who gets killed while he's fixing a car. His feet are sticking out from under the car, and all of a sudden the feet start kicking. Wow. Maybe this was the first time they did it. I don't know. It was 1958. So, but we knew this guy was going to get eaten. Okay. This girl's parents must sleep like a rock. That's all I'm going to say. Because this kid is making a hell of a racket. He is. So yeah, man, her parents must be on some kind of drugs or something to sleep because these guys are making a lot of noise on the stairs there. 49 minutes. If you see a monster, don't talk yourself out of it. What? If you see a monster, don't talk yourself out of it. Some of my notes I write to myself quickly, and I don't. Okay, maybe that was that slide that we just saw. Don't talk yourself out of it, meaning don't talk yourself out of killing the creature. That's what it was. That's what I meant by that. He was talking himself out of it. Maybe I didn't see it. Maybe I didn't see anything. In the lobby there, that poster, I'm looking for that training film, The Vampire and the Robot. Sounds like a good one. Vampires and robots, all in one episode. I'm looking for it. 57:30. They go in the store. Oh my God, product placement even back then. Ritz crackers, 1958. 57:45. Excellent tip. When dealing with man-eating space jams, get to the high ground, but don't stay in one place for too long. 59. Blobs can go under doors, we find out. That's how the doctor got it. The blob went under the door and, probably crawled up his leg. But we also find out here that they don't like cold, okay? Make a note of that, cadets. Cold, not good for blobs, space blobs. Remember, they come from space where it's probably pretty hot. So, 107:30, wake up the town and make them believe you. Act like Steve McQueen. There you go. Make them believe. 109:30. Oh my God, it goes through air vents too. Great. It can squeeze through anything. Like a Play-Doh Fun Factory. Do you remember those Play-Doh Fun Factories? And anybody that's ever played with a Play-Doh Fun Factory and not thought about pooping? Yeah. Anyway, okay, I'm digressing. 110. This is when you yell blob in a crowded movie theater when it's coming out of the tech booth there, the projection booth. 111:15. The theater is air conditioned, so it won't stay in there long, right? It doesn't like the cold. That's something they didn't think about, I think. Air-conditioned theater, yeah, it's not going to stay in there long. 111:45. Let's all go to the diner. We'll be safe there. Home-baked goods. We all thought that was a bad idea, I'm sure, when we saw this training film. Not a good idea. All right, 111:45. For the record, it looks like a scrotum, okay? And I think it was intentional. I believe that. So, I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. It looks like a scrotum, a purple scrotum. 112, Daughter of Horror and Bela Lugosi. Oh, no, there's the kid. That's what's on the marquee outside the theater. We finally know now how Mr. Lugosi met his demise. He was visiting that theater and the Blob showed up. Also, in the Blob, you can see little people giblets in it. If you look closely at the Blob, there's a picture of the Blob there somewhere. You can see little people giblets in it. Giblets. Look that up in the dictionary. Giblets. Danny went to the Blob fight with a cap gun. And the gun jammed. Tough luck there, kiddo. So he throws the gun at him. I love that. They all do that. The gun doesn't work, you throw the gun at him. And you lose a perfectly good weapon. 113:30. Oh, you believe us now? Here we got the fire department, the police. Everybody believes them now. Wow, it took a while. Okay, 115. Electricity, no good. All right, mark that off your list of things to try to hurt the Blob. No good. 117. Call me kooky, but why is this thing hanging on to the diner when there's all sorts of American food all around? I just caught that. I mean, it's like all these people are around the diner and the Blob's not going for him. He's going for the diner. I want Steve McQueen. I want to eat Steve McQueen. That's what it's saying. And that little kid with the cap gun. I want that little kid with the cap gun. He threw a cap gun at me. 121:30. Oh, geez, we're saved from the basement again. Remember we were talking about Night of the Living Dead not long ago? The basement is the worst place to go. What is it about these training films that are training people to go to the basement where you're trapped? I mean, you're literally trapped. There's nowhere to go from the basement. That's it. You've gone down to the lowest level. 122. Freeze the Blob. Freeze it. They froze it with fire extinguishers. Didn't take much. They got fire extinguishers from the local school. They froze it. There it is. And then drop it in the Arctic. Drop that sucker in the Arctic. Wait a minute. Global warming. Ah! Oh, no. Give the kids toy guns. The guns jam. Here we go. We got somebody. No basement. Yeah, stay in that basement. Man, oh man, oh man. I can't tell you enough. Stay in that basement. All right, I'm going to bring Major Millie back.
I'm here,
thank
General.
You, for my friend John for giving me this cool camouflage mug.
Oh,
this week.
Wonderful. I love it.
Yeah.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking, General?
Oh, just drinking water. Wet my palate with a little water, that's all. Sometimes when I'm talking a lot, I'm doing the timeline, I'm in my throat. I need some water.
Of course, of course. So what would you say, General, is the most important thing for people to know about blobs?
What's that?
What's the most important thing for people to know about blobs? Should they encounter a blob?
Obviously, the most important thing to know about a blob is that you can freeze it. And that's true with normal, everyday viscid blobs.
Biscuit. What's
the word of the day is
again?
biscuit.
Biscuit means a little dollop. A little dollop.
Rhymes with biscuit for you songwriters out there.
Now you're getting me hungry, General. So you can freeze
I'm getting wonky?
They don't like air conditioning. So if you live in an air conditioned climate, they don't come out much in winter, I guess. How many blobs are there?
I'm pretty sure the doctor's office was air conditioned, but I don't think that's enough to do it. It's got to be really cold, like my house. Like 77 degrees. I'm sorry, 67 degrees. 77 is actually a little hot, actually.
You like it really cold?
67 degrees or lower.
Mm-hmm. Right. You like it that way?
If you can find the old time fire extinguishers with the CO2, just use those to freeze them up.
Yeah. You could
freeze
also
them up, call the military, have the military take them out, and dump them somewhere where global warming is not going to melt them out.
But you could probably also put them in a freezer, right? If you had a
You could.
freezer, one of those big freezers, that might
And
be
if the
another
electricity
way.
goes out,
Well, then you're kind of screwed. Then you're kind of screwed, General.
You better be sure that those doors have special molding under them so that it doesn't come underneath the door.
But I was thinking we should just ship them to the Arctic.
Get that damn power back on fast.
But you could just ship them to the Arctic, right? I mean, we could just put it in find some.
Yeah, that was a good idea back in 1958. But now, thanks, governments. Thanks for taking the kickback.
Doesn't work as well
with
global
not listening
warming.
to the scientists.
It doesn't work as well. If they had only listened to the scientists, we wouldn't be in this situation, General. But the question...
I'm a military guy who listens to the scientists, okay?
Thank you. We appreciate that.
We have to do that. Otherwise, we have blobs and other things running around that, can kill us.
We have to, right. But that's my question is like, how many blobs are there? And how is this going to happen again is what we need to know.
Okay. Well, let me tell you that this was the first training film about the blob, but there was another one later with Kevin Dillon. And actually that was a better representation of, how a blob would kill people, because they really didn't show a lot of, what was it? You said blobby action?
Absorby as opposed to sticky. It's not sticky. Okay, it's actually blobby. Absorby.
There wasn't a lot of absorby action in this movie. You see the doctor, but it's a very quick take of him, banging on the window and the shades are in the way. So you don't really see somebody get totally absorbed by the blob. It always takes place off screen.
Yes, okay. Your imagination gets to go really gruesome places
that's pretty horrific. And for that time and the censors of that time, yeah, I understand it. I get it. So the movie,
I think it would have been too disturbing
in the late 80s, maybe the early 90s, The Blob, a much better representation of what would happen if you actually got sucked into this thing.
It's not pleasant.
There's actually a telephone booth scene where a guy's trying to call help on the telephone and the blob just comes into the telephone booth and that's it. Absorbs him up, sucks him up.
It's not a good place to be inside of a blob. You don't want to be inside of a blob, General. Just trust me. You don't want to be inside of a blob.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's pretend you're in a Jello mold full of Jello, and the Jello's made with acid. Okay, that's probably pretty much how it would be.
That's how it would be.
You'd be looking out, and everybody looking at you going, "Oh, hey, look at that guy," and that's pretty much it. And then you would dissolve, and it would be very painful, and it would be very slow, probably not very quick.
That's why we highly advise. We highly advise that if anyone comes across a blob, to notify the authorities so we can liquidate this thing as quickly as possible. Right? No, the regular citizens should not be engaging.
you would freeze it up so it's nice and hard.
Yeah, that's right. You just have to freeze it.
And then call the military.
What about salt? Do we know if salt does anything to these guys?
No. If acid doesn't do anything to it, I'm guessing salt doesn't.
It's unfortunate, I know bullets don't
Lorraine
even
loves
work.
Steve McQueen. Yeah,
I love Steve McQueen. What did he end up doing after this? Was this one of the first films he did? What do you know how he ended up in this training film, General?
He did some TV stuff before this, but this was his first big movie. This was his first starring role.
Well, I think he knocked it out of the park.
IMDb.
Oh yeah, that has all the good stuff in it. Yeah, IMDb. Acid
Jello. Jello. That's it right there. If you fall into a vat of acid Jello, then yeah, there it is. We're talking about the blob, CJ. Yes, the blob. What would it be like to be killed by a blob? That's what we're discussing at this moment in time. It has something to do with acid. Well, and again, that was my analogy. Just imagine yourself in a giant Jello mold full of Jello, and you're in the middle, and the Jello's made with acid. Ouch. Band-Aid ain't going to cover that. Acid Jello. I coined it right here first. Ouch. Blob infestation. If there was more than one, there we go. A movie with more than one blob. There's the blob frozen at the end. There's the blob electricity. We're trying electricity. There's the kid that there's the scrotum. It's a blob coming out of the theater because it's air conditioned.
That's the part I really wanted people to look
Oozing
at
out of the theater.
because you can see a lot of the viscid in this picture. This is a lot of viscid, and you can also see it's not so absorbent. You can see the absorbed level.
You can see people giblets, yes.
And you can see the people giblets. This is very horrific, you know. I mean, they have that cute little song at the beginning, gets you all festive and wanting to accept the blob. But when you look at it, this is actually what a blob would look like if it was coming in to get you. And you would be inside of it in this acidic belly of it.
I don't know who this Facebook user is, but yes, I agree totally. I don't think that your insurance would cover being consumed by a blob.
No, I don't think so.
Or falling into a vat of acid jello.
Acid,
which would have kind of the same things, kind of the same effect on you. I'm biting my lip now. I've got a little piece of skin on the bottom of my lip that's driving me nuts.
I get into that sometimes too. The answer
Probably
is chapstick. You always have to have some chapstick or something there, and then you just put a little something on. Do you use chapstick, General? I think you'd be a good candidate for chapstick, especially, you know, in these winter months, even though you're in Florida.
Wait, talk about something that looks like a blob. Blob in a chapstick container.
Blob in a chapstick.
That'd be a great beginning to the movie.
Did you see the Mothman prophecies? Did you see Mothman? Say that I have. Well, you might want to talk about it. It's a monster film, you know, and it's Mothman. Mothman is an actual creature, and in this movie, the Mothman actually talks about chapstick. It's a very I don't know, but the Mothman said something about chapstick. You have to look for it. Mothman. The people in the audience know. I think a lot of people have seen Mothman Prophecies. It was a training film from several years ago. And you know, Mothman is a real monster, and it's a real thing. And I think in West Virginia,
does he have a little Sony cassette player on his side?
A little bit like that, yeah. How did you know?
just a guess. And he fights monsters.
No, well, whenever he shows up, he's helpful.
I feel the monster.
Mothman is a monster, and nobody knows if he's good or bad. When he shows on the scene, bad stuff tends to happen around him, but they don't know if he's a harbinger or if he's someone who's trying to help, and then we don't really know. But he is psychic, and he's half moth and he's half man. Somebody tell me you've seen this Mothman. Yeah, the Mothman.
I thought you were saying Walkman. I don't know.
No, not the Walkman. The Mothman with the wings.
Oh, okay, Mothman.
And he gets to fly. Yeah, I think Mothra. A lot of people. It's like Mothra, exactly. That's why I was thinking about it. Mothra and Mothman. They're probably related somehow.
Okay. I usually don't do this. I don't do mythological training films, but next week on General Howitzer's Big Monster Briefing Room, we're going to do Jason and the Argonauts from the 60s, 1964.
Oh boy, that's a good one.
Jason and the Argonauts. And that's going to be our show next week. And there's a lot of monsters in that. We've got harpies. We've got Talos, which is a giant statue that comes to life. We have all kinds of mythical creatures in this thing. There's a Hydra, 7 heads. So, and an army of skeletons. So we're going to do that one next week on General Howitzer's Big Monster Briefing Room. And again, harpies. We're all having trouble hearing tonight. So, or this afternoon, I should say.
Oh boy, the General, your video went out for a second, but it's okay. You're back.
Next week on the show. Did I phase out?
No, you're back. It's just a frozen screen for a second, but you're back now. It's okay. You can continue.
I think I was talking about harpies.
Yes.
Yeah. Somebody said herpes. I said, no, harpies. Leather-winged women with giant talons and sharp teeth, kind of like my ex-wife. So when she wants to go shopping, wah! Anyway, Okay, so that's going to be next week on the show. If you're dealing with a blob, freeze it. Find a way to freeze it, encase it in a sealed meat locker maybe, or use fire extinguishers that use CO2 to freeze it, and then call the military and have them cart it off to the North Pole or something. Drop it off at Santa Claus's front doorstep. He'll know what to do with it. And there it is.
And there it is. Okay.
Next week, Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh, we have a couple more. Hold on. A couple more comments just came in. That's Sweet Lorraine. We love Sweet Lorraine so much.
We'll go overtime for our cadets.
Yes. Let's do a couple more. Just a couple more. The last of the comments should be coming in now, guys. So if you have one more thing to say about the blob for the general, you have a couple. You have about 2
Mr.
minutes.
Bob Ross says, I believe Major Hazzard has a lot of experience fighting giant octopi.
I don't know why he would say that. That's kind of a reputation, but I don't know where he's getting it from, and it's not necessarily
octopuses. They both work, actually. They're both solid ways to say that. Octopi and octopuses. Facebook user says, thank you. You're welcome. Again, if there's monsters out there, we're gonna try to tell you how you can protect yourself from them, how you can save yourself. And of course, watching the training films is fun too. And I'm not frozen.
No, you're not frozen. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for the next comment too. There's not another one in there right now. So, okay, everybody. That's gonna. Oh, wait.
You like my new hat?
I do like your new hat, but the comments now. There's another one, but I do talk about the hat a little bit and talk about
you get harpies from octopuses. You know, this is the reason why I think maybe we should pre-tape this show. They're not taking us seriously. Fred's hiding. I'm not sure what that means, but there it is. Okay. Fred. Major Hazzard is in disguise and is actually an octopi. Bob, what are you smoking today? Major Hazzard, what are you wearing? You're wearing your lab coat, right?
I'm wearing my lab coat, and I also have, just like you do, I have this thing here, which is my name tag.
Name tags on this time today.
Yep.
I want to make sure people know we're serious.
We are actually legitimate,
and you got a nice little turtleneck sweater going on there. You came in one time with like an orange T-shirt on under your.
I think it was a sweatshirt. It was a sweatshirt, and I had to do with a different meeting I had beforehand. So that won't happen again.
It's like a Florida Gator sweatshirt or something.
The general talked to me about it. We had a talking about it. He told me. So today I made sure I had the turtleneck on.
Look professional. Flat picking, bluegrass, just do some flat picking. Okay. If you know a blob who can perform without eating people, without wanting to absorb everybody on stage, knock yourself out. But personally, they're man-eating parasites. They absorb you and get bigger. As they absorb, they get bigger. So, and what we saw in the training film was, it grew just a little bit eating one guy, and then it grew a little bigger with the other guy. It was really in the movie theater when it ate a lot of people when it got really big. So, I mean, if it had ate a whole town, God, it would have been too big to freeze. You don't want to let it get too big that you can't freeze it. So does he have harpies? I used to be married to one. My family sleeps good knowing that we have all this training. There you go, MM. Thank you. It's nice to get a nice comment for once, not people just picking at us, trying to trigger us, making sure my freezer is working for blob safety. There you go, Lorraine. That's what I want to hear.
That's right. They don't like cold.
I want to hear my cadets are ready and waiting in case it happens.
Ready and waiting. That's right.
That's what the show's all about.
Oh, we got one more. Hold on. Here we go.
Stop trolling General Howitzer. Nah, Lorraine's not trolling me. She's a good cadet.
No, she's a very good cadet. She's sweet Lorraine. Everybody loves Lorraine. Well,
she knows what she's doing.
Well, after this at 7 p.m., we're going to be having Sandy D's show, which is no icing with Drita.
No
so
icing
I think
with
we
Drita.
should... Yes.
Drita. I talked to her and she corrected me every time I said her name wrong. I said Drita. She goes, no, it's Drita. Drita. All right. So yes, definitely tune in for that. She's usually a lot of fun. And Tuesday nights, tune into our friend Rory Penland and his show, It's Casual. Next week, they're having Jeff Evans on the show and comedian Tom Ryan, who they talked about on the last show. So, should be interesting. I got a feeling we're going to go overtime on that show. 2 good guests. Or they're going to go overtime. Whoops.
Okay, I'm going to roll the credits now. Bye, everybody. Thank you for hanging out.
All right.
All right.
Thank you for watching, talking to us about the Blob. Next week, Blob. Jason and the Argonauts.
That's right. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.